Ever found yourself wishing you could make a little extra cash online, without needing some fancy degree or tons of experience? Well, if that's you, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to look at unlocking your side income potential, but we're going to do it the smart way.
I mean, that's the big question, right? You see it everywhere online, all these claims, but can you actually sit at home in your PJs, in your spare time, and pull in some real, actual side income?
Well, the short answer is a big, resounding yes. It is totally possible. But, and this is a huge but, it's not some wild west of free money like a lot of people promise. There is a right way to do this and, well, a very, very wrong way. And this is exactly why this matters so much. Get this. According to the FBI, a jaw-dropping $16 billion was lost to online scams in just 1 year. The internet is a fantastic tool, but it's also a hunting ground for scammers, which is why knowing how to earn money safely, well, that is the most important skill of all.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with a super important reality check. Then, we'll jump into 3 legit methods for beginners: earning from your habits, your opinions, and by doing small tasks. And we'll wrap it all up with the most crucial part, the playbook for being a smart earner.
Okay, first things first, we got to get our expectations lined up properly. This is not about quitting your day job tomorrow, not at all. This is about building a flexible, extra stream of income on the side. Look, our sources are super clear on this. If you're dedicated, you can realistically aim to make an extra, say, $100 to $250 a month. The key here is to see this for what it is, a solid side hustle. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Anyone promising you a full-time living from this stuff, that's probably a massive red flag. All right, on to our first method. This is probably the easiest way to dip your toes in the water because it's based on something you're already doing every single day anyway, spending money. Let's talk about how to turn that spending into earning. The secret sauce here? Cashback apps. And the model is just brilliantly simple. So a retailer, let's say Target, wants more shoppers. They team up with an app and pay them a commission for every customer they send over. When you use that app to shop at Target, the app just splits that commission with you. It's a total win-win-win situation. And yeah, there are some real heavy hitters in this space. Rakuten is an absolute powerhouse for pretty much any online shopping you can think of. Ibotta is the undisputed champ for groceries. Fetch Rewards is awesome because it's so simple. You just scan any receipt from anywhere. And Upside is a total no-brainer for saving money on gas. What's really cool here is how you can see they each have their own specialty. I mean, you wouldn't use a gas app to buy a new pair of jeans online, right? Of course not. This just shows that the real key to maximizing what you get back is using the right tool for the right job. Okay, let's move on to our second method. This one is all about getting paid for something you have an absolutely endless supply of: your opinions. Seriously, brands are desperate to know what you think, and they are more than willing to pay for it. And this all happens on what are called paid survey sites. They're basically the middleman. So a company, maybe they want to know if people like the blue box or the red box for their new product. They'll pay a research company who then uses a site like Swagbucks or Survey Junkie to find people just like you to answer that question. But again, let's be real about the payout. The vast majority of these surveys are going to pay you somewhere between 50 cents and maybe $5. And they can take anywhere from 5 minutes to like 45 minutes. So we're not talking about huge money per survey. The idea is to knock them out in your spare moments, waiting in line, during commercials, that kind of thing. And yeah, we gotta have a little dose of reality here. And this quote from a user on Reddit absolutely nails it. One of the biggest frustrations is something called screening out. It's when you spend like 20 minutes on a survey only for it to tell you you don't qualify. It happens. It's part of the game. And it's why you gotta keep your expectations in check. But hey, even with those little frustrations, there are some really solid, legitimate platforms out there. Swagbucks is a giant, and they have tons of ways to earn beyond just surveys. Survey Junkie gets a lot of praise for being super focused and easy to use. And people love Inbox Dollars because they pay you in straight cash, no confusing point system to figure out. Okay, method number 3. Now we're moving from more passive earning into more active work. So if you've got a bit more time and focus to spare, you can get paid for completing these small online jobs, which are often called microtasks. So what these microtask platforms do is they take huge projects and break them down into thousands of tiny little jobs. We're talking stuff like checking a search result, maybe labeling an image, or doing some really simple data entry.
Each little task might pay a few cents or a couple of dollars, and you can just do as many or as few as you want.
So you might be wondering, wait, how is this different from doing surveys? Well, it's pretty simple. Surveys are just, well, they're surveys, questionnaires. Microtasks, on the other hand, cover a huge range of jobs. And here's the kicker. With a survey, the payout is fixed. With microtasks, the faster and more accurate you are, the more you can potentially earn. The ceiling is just way higher.
Now we've arrived at what is, without a doubt, the most critical part of all of this. We've covered the what, but it's the how that really separates the people who succeed from the people who just get frustrated or, even worse, scammed. This is the Smart Earners Playbook.
The very first play is to build an app stack instead of just relying on one. Think of it like a toolkit. You pull out a high-rate app like Rakuten for your big online purchases. Then you switch over to a specialist like Ibotta when you're at the grocery store. After that, you scan every single physical receipt into an app like Fetch, and you always check a gas app like Upside before you fill up the tank. Stacking them like this makes sure you are not leaving any money on the table. Period. But listen, maximizing your earnings means absolutely nothing if you turn around and lose it all to a scam. So the number one strategy, the thing that's more important than anything else we've talked about, is knowing how to spot the red flags. And these warning signs are crystal clear. If the pay sounds just way too good to be true, like $350 for a 10-minute survey, it's a scam. If they're pressuring you to act super fast, it's a scam. If they ask you to pay money for anything, even for training, run. It is a scam. Legitimate sites are never going to ask for your driver's license number or want to be paid in gift cards. You just have to be skeptical, do a little research, and trust your gut. If it feels off, it is. You know, this really boils down to one central idea. When you're doing any of these things, you are trading your time and your consumer data for money. Both of those things are incredibly valuable. So you have to treat them that way. Be intentional, be smart, and be safe. So we'll leave you with this final question. You now have a realistic roadmap. You've got a clear set of warnings. You know the difference between a real side hustle and a total scam. So what's the first smart, safe step that you're going to take? Thanks for watching.